Okay, we are live. So, good afternoon, everyone. This is Kristi Villanueva with the West San Antonio Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for joining us on another episode of Sustainable Brain, our leadership vlog that we host every week. And today we're talking about more than truth and resilience. It's a rediscovery. And today is a perfect day for that. Dr. Sunita, how are you this week?
I'm really very fortunate. Thank you. Things are going well.
Wonderful. Well, I think our topic is very timely, speaking about truth, resilience, and rediscovery. And our guest today, we have a special guest, Melissa Aguillon, who is a business owner here in San Antonio and has done a whole lot of different activities to help promote positivity, wellness. She's delving into politics and other activities related to her business. So I think rediscovery is very timely for her. Good afternoon, Melissa.
Hi, thank you for having me today.
Absolutely. So tell us, before we start and really hashing out the topic, tell us a little bit about your business and what you're doing.
Okay, so Aguillon Associates is been known to be traditional public relations, marketing, event planning firm. We've been in business 10 years now. So I think what people don't necessarily know, which I think it's kind of time to change the mindset a little bit, is that we've actually been doing quite a bit of advertising and a lot of marketing, some digital social media, video creation. And so we're kind of taking advantage of this time right now to share our changes and our new services. So we're excited to look towards the future.
That's fantastic. I'm so excited for you. Well, Dr. Sunita, do you want to get started?
Yes. I love this term rediscovery. And I don't know, Melissa, if you had coined that or if Kristi came up with that.
But I think Kristi did.
Did she? Well, and so tell me what you're doing that she's using that term.
Well, there's a lot of different things. I think her and I visited for the first time about this just a couple of weeks ago, and she was asking me, what was going on in my life, and I mentioned to her about the rebranding that we're about to go through, and then I told her just what I was doing to try to keep sane in this time. We're obviously working from home, as a lot of people are, and it's very hard to disconnect, to connect, and know when it's time to work, when it's time to have fun. And so I was kind of sharing with her some of the things that I've been doing. Some of it's gardening with my son. My daughter and I can do a lot of damage, virtual shopping. That's easy enough. That's something we've always done. But I think the gardening has really been helping me, kind of really put things aside and put things into perspective and look at growth and change. And so maybe that's where she came up with that, as we were kind of talking about the two different things that we were up to in our lives.
Yeah, that's actually exactly where all that came to mind, is because that combination of our conversation and then as the West Chamber is reaching out to different members, which you may be seeing with some of your clients, many staff are being furloughed. They're upset about the situation. They're struggling with the bills. Maybe some of their creditors are not working with them and they're starting to shut down. And I think that's why I think you're a perfect example of what we should be doing during this time. We're all going through something, and we have to take that and retune it in order for us to do more. And that way we can come out of this much, much better.
And I think that's what I hear is there's the shutting down versus rediscovery. So the tendency for the brain is to shut down. I'm out, disengage. Alcoholism is up. Unfortunately, marital problems are higher. We see more abuse going on, where the brain wants to go back and go to the worst case scenario, Why, Melissa, what do you think has helped you to, rather than go there, what is helping you to be someone that's rediscovering? What are you doing? So you're,
I think, you know, a lot of it is just because we are with family. It does feel good to actually spend some time with them, to get to, you know them. I want to say a little bit better. I was telling Kristi, my son's, he's 16, and so you know he always had his pattern of just kind of working in his room, doing his work, playing his games, not really seeing him very often. So him and I bonding over gardening has been great because we get to do things together now. We go outside of the house, which, you know, I do walk my dogs in the morning, which also helps me. But also just going outside in the daytime and getting some fresh air and seeing things come to life. That really helps because it's so easy to be locked into your computer, which I'm sure we're all guilty of it. I know even before we went into the shutdown, you know, my pattern was to work till 6:30, go home, eat something, get back on the computer again as well. So it wasn't just my son who was retreating to his room. It was also me kind of retreating into work. So this has really, I think, kind of made us take a step outside of that, because we just go nuts if we were just sitting at home all day looking into the screen. So kind of trying to get outside of ourselves. And you know, I like that idea of growth and seeing things, you know, is this working? How we planted it in this dirt? Do we need rocks? And, you know, it's just kind of things that are really outside of the normal everyday purview that, you know, it makes it nice.
Melissa, what I hear you did is actually not very easy. What you did is it sounds like you got in touch with your values. So you said you kind of pulled back, right? And this COVID time, so for some people, not everyone, but for some people, we are stepping back and reflecting on what really matters. That's what it sounds like you did. And actually, that's not that easy. Could you tell us a little? I mean, can you remember or can you identify, like, why not choose to shut down, right? Why did you choose to step back? Where did that come from, do you think?
I think that's also part of the entrepreneurial mindset, because I know when I started my business over 10 years ago, the one thing I always say, and I'll still say to this day, is if failure is not an option, because I went against kind of the grain, right? I was working for the city of San Antonio in the economic development department, already as a manager, and my only I was projected to be continuing to move up. And so why would I leave that setting and go into the setting where I'm just a one-man show, one-woman show on my kitchen table looking for work? And so that was my mindset back then. You know, before COVID hit, we were already at 10 staff members. You know, we were kind of on that same trajectory, only to go up. And so now, you know, I feel like my business has already taken like a step 5 years back. We're down to half the team now, but we're still moving. It's like failure is not an option. I've always kind of had that mindset. And so to me, it's like, you know, even sometimes with the small things, I'm like, I can't relax until I do X, Y, and Z, or I can't, you know, go to the movies or have a drink or whatever until I'm done with this. So it's always kind of been that mindset for me. And again, I think it's instilled in all entrepreneurs, right? Because even those who are successful want to start something else new and just kind of keep moving. So I think that's where that comes from.
It's so incredible. You might be Indian. I don't know. From those of us that from India, we're just like, okay, we'll do one more thing and then we get to relax. One more thing, we get to relax. I do think it is an entrepreneur, but what I hear is things that you're saying to yourself. And so we talk about self-talk. So failure is not an option is sort of maybe one of the things, a mantra for you, right? And so here, this is what we see. We see that life is happening to you, and instead of just reacting, you got in touch with the fundamentals, right? Like what your core, and then you took and you made a decision from there. I think that's amazing.
Well, Sunita, I'd also like to throw another bombshell in. And so Melissa has not only just, rediscovered this gardening and then revamped her business, but her and her husband were also involved in the community. So Melissa, I do want to highlight that a little bit because you've been through some ups and downs, and it's very stressful to
Yes.
be a part of this big event for Fiesta and then have COVID hit and have some critical decisions. You were involved in some major decisions with your husband all at the same time.
True. It's almost like I compartmentalize because I'm like, oh yeah, that. Let's talk about gardening again. No, just kidding. No,
Yeah, so that's a
true.
lot to handle.
Yes. We were so close, Kristi. I had a countdown app, and I want to say we were like at, I don't know, 23 days or something till we got to Fiesta, which wasn't very far at all. And then we thought maybe November. Obviously, now it's not going to happen in November. So they did tell him that he would be able to reign in 2021. So I did the countdown app again, and it's like 9 months, 16 days. So kind of like really hitting the reset button.
Wow. So you've hit the reset button several times now just for that volunteer activity. But I mean, that is cumbersome all in itself because it's fundraising, it's events that you're having to host or be present at with your family. So it's like taking the whole kit and caboodle on the road and going.
Yeah. So we're excited that that really he has a great court. A lot of people have been very busy, very involved. They joke about it too because I obviously felt very compelled to make sure that we raised the money, which we raised. Thomas raised over $272,000 for scholarships in about a year and a half. And then we went into this mode, you're right, where it was a lot of events. And I think we just have one more event that, unfortunately it was the big one, the candlelight ball had to be canceled. So we're hoping obviously that can be moved, but there is a joke among the court, not to ask me anything anymore, because now it's like, it's your ball game now. Y'all are the court, y'all are in charge. Have fun.
Do you think that part helped you to keep motivated and stay going, this court that you had assembled and everyone seemed to be like a family together?
Yes, Thomas did a great job of handpicking a lot of people who through the years he's had friendships with, relationships with, they worked with on different settings. And so some people weren't shy and were like, hey, I want to be involved with you. And he was very happy to have that support, because really at the end it was all of them together who helped raise the money.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm so glad that this whole thing, at least everyone is well and you're able to keep moving forward. Dr. Sunita, maybe you can enlighten us a little bit about our brain, and when we're so busy with things back and forth, we're shifting from volunteer work to our personal business and then to the entrepreneurial piece.
Yes.
How are we kind of firing off? How is everything firing off in a positive way? Obviously, we have to be healthy. We have to take care of ourselves with nutrition, but also with those who we're surrounded by.
So the research that I'm actually working on publishing part of with Harvard Business, Harvard Business School. So what we're looking at is a new profit is purpose. And what you see in Melissa is an on-purpose business owner. And she may not know how to explain it, but that's what she's doing. I'm still a teacher at heart, so I draw pictures. But if you look at just like an organization, can you see my stick man?
Yes.
Okay. Now, what happens is, people think that their purpose as a person is their children or their business or whatever. It doesn't work like that. The purpose lives, it's a unifying theme that lives in the heart. And the way you raise your children is an expression. The way you run your business is an expression. The way Melissa does gardening are the arms and the legs. It's an expression of personal purpose. Now, Melissa, I really believe, and I'd be honored, this is totally free, to create your purpose statement, because it actually, so you can language it. And what it does is it connects the brain. But you're already kind of doing it. But I think that's how, to answer your question, Kristi, she doesn't have to shift gears. She's not her son's mom in 1 minute, and then Melissa Aguillon and Associates, and it all comes up together. Mm-hmm. So it's really easy to be fluid, right? And
yes,
because she's on purpose. She's the purpose. She lives with this unifying theme. And Melissa, I'd like it's basically your why. Like in the world of business, it's called your why, and you're in a flow because you're on why. So the what and the how is easy because you know your why. Does that make sense?
Yes, I would love for you to do my personal statement.
I'd be honored. I'd be honored. We'll exchange numbers. I actually do this when Aguillon of Texas was around, and I've done it for the SBA. I'd love to do it. But what it is actually this unifying theme. So let's suppose you know that you need to go to New York, and because you got to go see, we did this, Kristi's son is in New York. We got to go see the baby, right? That's the why. Mm-hmm. Whether we go plane, train, automobile, airplane, it doesn't matter. That will find a way because we know why we want to go to New York. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's how I feel every day.
Yeah, so you have this why.
Right.
Please go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's exactly every day. I'm like, what is it that I need to do to get to the end result?
Well, and what you have, my love, is actually this vision right now. And I'd love to help you language it because everything actually is in language. All thought leads to action and action leads to results. So you actually have a picture and languaging it would be just amazing. But to answer Kristi's question, that's what I think we see. We see a purpose-driven business owner. And, the whole idea of being purpose-driven companies now or cause-driven companies. If you guys look it up, we've talked about social entrepreneurship. And this is an example of a social entrepreneur. She's doing it for community. She does it what her husband and her do. So it's an honor. But does that answer the question, Kristi?
Yes, that answers the question because I want to make sure that we're motivating people to see what Melissa is doing, and not that we're all going to run out and volunteer for Fiesta, because that's a very intense a group. As far as that's a lot of work, even more I think than what I'm doing with Via. But the whole focus of not letting it get you down, because if you have, as we all know, we have teenagers, they're not always cooperative with us. And so you have that, and then maybe a handful of clients didn't pay their bill. And then you have all these different things that are piling up, and not letting that bother you and drag you down. We need to just regroup. Let's go out and do some gardening, rethink. And then the fact that you pulled your staff together to help rebrand your business, that in itself normally could take a number of years. And you just kind of did it so simply and so focused during COVID. Hey, I'm just going to rebrand and that's it.
How did you stay positive?
I was just about to say, it has been fun. There's a lot of things, but sometimes it is frustrating. Sometimes it's sad. I'm not one to cry usually but I do get frustrated. I get kind of, why aren't we doing this? And I'm always pushing. But when I kind of do get to that breaking point, that's when I do feel like crying. That's when I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Is this really, where I need to be, what I need to be doing, where I need to be in the future? But, that also isn't just exclusive to COVID. I feel like throughout the 10 years in business, there's always been times where clients still don't pay their bills, or, we're behind on something. And for payment wise, we know they're good for it, but gosh, 90 days is a long time to be carrying, a lot of money and things like that. But, you just what I do is I always just look ahead and think, what are my options? Again, what else would I be doing if not this? And is there anything that I would rather be doing than this? No.
Yes. So it's what makes you happy.
Yes. So that's where I end up, and I'm like, okay, well then let's continue to move forward. And
so go ahead. Sorry, Melissa.
I just saw something the other day on TV, and it was like this very world-renowned musician. He writes music for people. He writes songs for Michael Bublé and a number of other real famous people. And nobody really knows what he does, that he does all of this. And then he said, I'm going to give you the honest truth. He said, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I felt like a failure. I feel like I'm an imposter and I'm not doing anything. And then he says, then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I make my music and I feel good. And I was like, it's not just me. It's so many people feel that way. Am I really doing the right thing? Is this, am I really an expert in this field? So I thought that was interesting, and sometimes that's how I feel.
And that's a huge thing, Melissa, that you just said. A lot of entrepreneurs need to be in the game, and it reminds us, yes, this is what, and I tell you what, same thing with me. When I don't see a client, when I'm not on a Zoom call and I'm not helping somebody, I really do what am I doing here? Am I really making a difference? Can I really do this? So the imposter syndrome is alive and well in entrepreneurs. But I want to say it's what gives us that edge if we use it and not be used by it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's a very fine line. High achievers, we're very hard on ourselves, and we can be so hard that we paralyze ourselves, or we can use it to fuel us. It's a balance.
Yeah. And then you get up off that little low perch, and you're like, okay, keep moving ahead.
Yeah, because you have to talk yourself out of it and say, what am I doing? I can't be here. This is not me. Let's go. I got to pick myself up and go do something, some sort of accomplishment.
Exactly. So the original question was, how do you keep positive? I do have those low days, but most of the time, just pushing forward is really what keeps me going and keeps me happy.
So here's what I hear her saying, Kristi. I hear her saying the solution is staying in action, even if it's a small step like gardening, and which is huge and small at the same time, but it's staying in action. Because a lot of people, Melissa, it's just human to just, let me just stay here and figure this out before I take any step. And that's actually not the right thing to do. But as high achievers, we want to line up all of our ducks. So what I hear you saying is take some action, even if it's not the right action, you're taking some action. Is that correct?
I would agree. Absolutely. I mean, it's almost like you have to, there's going to be failure. You're never going to be perfect, but you learn from your mistakes, you learn from failure, and that's what makes you better.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And I think with the outreach that the girls have been doing, hearing so many people say, I just don't feel like taking another class, or I just don't feel like doing anything. So we have to ask, okay, so what are you doing? How can we help you then? How do we help you promote? Well, right now I can't do anything. So then, it's kind of like, please let us help. Just come join us for a 30-minute class or a 1-hour class, just to put that action into motion, to get you back in the groove of things.
Absolutely. So, and I would encourage people to, anything creative. It doesn't have to be business focused. What is creative that you have fun doing that's going to spark that, emotion in you, or you feel, success or accomplishment, or, something of that nature.
Yes. Well, and I'm still working on Sunita got me started with making a list of the things that I hadn't gotten to since the point of starting with the chamber and then starting my own business with my husband, still making that list of things that I have just put off. And I'm still working through that list. And that has kept me in action. And I've come back to tell her, I have gotten so much done that I never knew I would ever be able to check off, big and small. So that helped me, my list.
Good deal. You have to have that.
And what it is, Melissa, is we looked at, it was a podcast we had done early on. What if we look 6 months from now, because the brain wants to, like, this is going to last forever and this is it. It wants to do this, right? But what we were talking about in that podcast was 6 months from now. So now we're going out to Christmas. What, when I look back from Christmas, would I say, darn it, I wish I had used the time to do that. And it's regret, right? The worst thing that we could have was regret. I didn't do that with that time that I had. And that question kind of forces us out of being paralyzed, because entrepreneurs, we don't like regret.
No.
We do not like regret.
Not at all.
Well, so as we kind of wrap this up, Melissa, is there something that you would like to share with the community? Is there a parting message that you would like to leave other business owners with before we go?
I think it's just something that I've seen put out there on social media, for maybe specifically more of a message for moms, which, you know, a lot of us are moms, a lot of us are entrepreneurs as well, do a lot of different things, but don't be so hard on yourself right now. That's the other thing. You know, you do feel like, maybe how you were saying, some people feel that there's nothing they can do. There's a lot of things you can do, but just give yourself that time to figure it out. And yes, you know, I love the idea of lists. I have lists too. I thought I was going to get through my list at my house pretty quickly, and I haven't gotten through much, but you know, at least I know, okay, there's things that I'm going to be doing around the house, and things that I'm going to be doing for my business. I do want to share that we probably will be launching maybe mid-August, the new brand, but we're going to be going to Aguillon Creative will be our new name.
Wow, I'm excited for you. That's nice.
Thank you. So creative marketing, creative communications, creative event planning, creative videos, all kinds of things we can do. So we're looking forward to putting that out there and helping people.
Absolutely. I love that. And I'm so glad that that's happening for you. And I know it's going to be just a big thing once we get that, or you get that started in August. So thank you so much. And thank you so much for sharing, Melissa. It's really important to hear your perspective as a business owner, and so people understand that, you know, you got to take the good with the bad and keep pushing forward.
Absolutely.
Melissa, it's an honor to meet you. Kristi and I knew that business owners are out there like you, and we're just excited to find you and then to put you on so you can share.
Well,
because
thank
we
you.
learn from each other.
Pleasure to meet you, and I would love to keep our conversations going and to get to know you personally as well.
It'd be an honor.
Woman.
It'd be an honor.
Absolutely. So Dr. Sunita, please, your parting message to our community.
There are people like Melissa and Kristi out there. Please don't try and do this alone. We are separate, but we're not alone.
Thank you so much. That's so important for people to hear. And thank you to everyone who's joined us today. We appreciate you having lunch with us and celebrating business ownership, entrepreneurship. Yes, we haven't had lunch, but we hope our audience has had lunch. So we thank you for joining us. You know, today's topic, we talked about truth and resilience, and it's rediscovery. You can rediscover what you're doing and how you're going to move forward. And you do that with support and help. Dr. Sunita is available for whatever you need. The West Chamber is available. And now you've met one more new person in the business community, Melissa Aguillon, and she has a ton of services to offer our community. So thank you so much, everyone. Next week, same time, we're going to be talking to the CEO and president of SA Youth, Asia Servano. So we hope that you'll join us at the same time, 12:15 on Thursday. Until then, please wear your mask, please take care of each other, and have a wonderful day. We will see you all soon. Thank you.
Mm.